Hey guys, Ethan here with Terminal.com, and today we're going to talk about hosting multiple sites on the same terminal. So this is a pretty cool thing to use Terminal for. You can set it up in order to host several individual websites or a site and several subdomains. You really have a lot of options, and very easy process. I'm going to show you how to do it right now from scratch. We're going to be using a blog article that we wrote on the subject. Feel free to head on over and check this out. I will link to it in the description of this video. There's a lot of good information here that not only speeds up the process but can certainly help you figure out how to do this for your own project as well. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a snapshot, and I'm going to start with the Ubuntu snapshot. I'm just going to rename it something interesting, like we'll say my test sites. And I'm going to turn off auto pause, that way the server doesn't stop. Now, depending on how many sites you want to run and what their usage requirements are, you may want to resize the computer. This is going to be perfect for our uses though. So turn off auto pause, hit start, and let that spin up. While this is spinning up, I'm going to do something else. The first thing I need to do in order to host multiple sites on a terminal is I need to have multiple sites. And regardless of where you're getting your domains from or whether you're using subdomains, the first step is to create CNAME records that point those subdomains towards Terminal.com. So I'm just going to grab my domain here. And what I want to do is add a CNAME record. And this essentially will, first box here is going to tell it what domain I want to redirect. So I'm going to type in test because it will automatically fill in test.ethanbrooks.com. And then where do I want to direct it to? So I want to send it to Terminal.com. And because I want to show you how to do multiple subdomains, I'm also going to set up test2 as well. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to step back over to Terminal, and I will be using my actual Terminal console here to manage custom subdomains. So just click that button and type in the name of the domain you plan on using, the one you just set your CNAME record for. So in this case it'll be test.ethanbrooks.com, and I want to add it, and I'm going to add my second one as well. And then from this lower section, I can now assign each of these domains to a particular terminal. And in this case, I'm going to assign them to the terminal that we just spun up, which is 76. You can also assign a port. For our uses, I'm going to leave it on port 80. Now you'll notice I assigned both of these subdomains to the same terminal and the same port. And then just close out of that and head back over to my terminal. And the first step is to come up with some content. So if you already have websites, you've likely already got the files. I'm going to go ahead real quick and just create some files. We want to put our files under the var www directory. We're going to create a new directory for each domain that we want to host. So in this case, you can watch me do this in the command line. I'm going to go cd to the and there is a faster way to do this, obviously, but I'm going to go test.ethanbrooks, and I'll make the test 2 as well. So now we've got 2 directories, one for each domain that we want to work with. And inside this first domain, I'm just going to go ahead and create an index page, index.html. So most of your files should be HTML, CSS, JavaScript files. If you're not familiar with that, feel free to upload a content management system like WordPress instead, so that you don't have to learn a brand new language in order to do this. So I'm just going to create a very basic document. And we'll just put a little text in it. And because this is the first site, I'm going to say this is site 1. And we'll style it a little bit, because what's the use in doing it if you don't do it with style? So again, if you're not familiar with HTML or CSS, this is CSS, this is HTML. They are the languages used to create web pages. So this is going to be a pretty simple web page, and you'll see it loaded in just a few minutes. I want to save this as index.html. And then I'm just going to copy it and save it over in my other directory as well, and we'll just customize it for that site so that we can tell the 2 pages apart. And if you're new to website design or development, the reason I'm naming these index.html is that that is typically the page that is automatically opened when a browser navigates to the root folder of a particular website. So that's just an easy way to make sure that the browser opens up this page when it navigates to the subdomain that I'm about to set up. So this is site 2, and we want to customize it so that we can tell them apart and ensure that the terminal is serving up each individual subdomain that we've given it. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and the next step is to create virtual host files, or vhost files. So we can do this using Apache, and essentially what we're doing is we're just setting up a file that tells Apache which files to serve up when a specific action is taken. So we'll go to our etc. I keep wanting to say file, or etc. directory, etc, and then Apache 2, and then we're looking for this directory right here, which is sites available. You'll see here there's a default, and we'd like to create a new one, and we'll just name it whatever you want, but make sure that you're going to recognize the name later on. So keep the name logical and ensure that it ends with .conf. Now you can find the exact verbiage, I guess you'd call it, or the exact code for this particular document in the blog post. That's kind of the quickest way to go ahead and make sure you have it. Just copy it, paste it into your text editor, and then we want to customize this so that it reflects the name of our domain or subdomain, whichever you chose. So in this case, it's test.brooks.com. And then you can change this to your email if you like as well. The important thing is that you change the server name and the document root. So the document that I just set up is inside test.ethanbrooks.com directory. And go ahead and save that. So once we've done that, we've saved our new virtual host file. We want to go ahead and make sure that Apache now serves up this particular file rather than the default. And in order to do that, we have to do two things. We kind of have to divert Apache's attention to our new file rather than the default file. So we'll do that by activating our file. So we want to do A2 site, and then the name of our new file my computer is acting a bit slow here. And then you could do this all in one command, or if you do it like I did in two commands, it will tell you, great, that's all set. In order to activate the new configuration, just run service Apache reload. So you're basically reloading Apache as well. And when that's done, we should be able to navigate to the subdomain, which we just set up, so test.ethanbrooks.com, and we should see the Apache 2 default configuration. And the reason that this is being served up the way it is because Apache gives priority to these configuration files in alphabetical order. So in order to actually see our site, our new tutorial .conf, this one, we need to remove the default from use. So we'll do that with and then just the name of the file. And again, we should reload Apache so that it updates. So if we reload this page, we should now see, great. So hello there, this is Site 1. We are on our way. The next step is to take a very similar action for the second site. I can work with them both in that same vhost file. And all I have to do is really just duplicate this section and paste it, and then change this to test2 so that it knows that if test2 is logged, we want to serve up the test2 document root. So if I go ahead and save this document again and reload Apache one more time, actually before I do, I'll show you what happens when we go to test2. So you'll see it's currently catching the redirect, but it's giving up the test1 files. So if we come back over here, because we just made this adjustment, we're now going to reload Apache. And now, when we access this new subdomain, we should see our actual Site2 files. So it's working properly. Everything is up and running. If you were to use this in order to set up multiple domains, So if I was setting up ethanbrooks.com and another site.com, it's a good idea to separate those out into their own vhost files. So different documents for different domains, but you can add subdomains inside the regular domains document. Guys, I hope this was helpful. Get out there, make some cool stuff, share it, let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to see, and definitely be sure to check in next time. Until then, thanks for taking a look.